Good afternoon, folks. It is the 22nd of June. We in the upper echelons of Bryanston. We're at Peter Place. St Stithians College is where we are today for this fixture. Derby Day. The host, St Stithians College versus St John's College from just up the road. We are on Baytop Field. The second team game is currently underway. St John's in their regular second team strip of the maroon jersey, and then the St Stithians in their navy blue. The first team game is shortly to follow. We're just waiting for this game here with about 2 or so minutes to go, according to Mr. Referee. It's been end-to-end stuff here at Baytop Field. Lovely winter's morning it has been. Weather's been lovely, and the rugby has been scintillating. Gear up for this one, folks. It's going to be a cracker between St John's College, the visitors, and the host, St Stithians College. Whilst we wait for this game to wrap up, we do have an interview lined up. It is the headmaster, the hosting headmaster, Mr. David du Toit, and he's going to give us a little bit more about why we're here, as well as give us comments on the Pink Day that is being hosted. Listen up, folks.
Good morning. I'm David du Toit, the head of St Stithians Boys College. We're super excited today to be hosting St John's College for our annual Derby Day. The two schools have really locked horns over the years many times. It's a rivalry which has a nice needle to it, but also one which is really about friendship and about respect and about boys giving their all for their schools against one another. This morning I'd particularly like to celebrate Mr. Paul Eadie, the outgoing head of St John's College. Paul has reached retirement age, and I know he's looking forward to that, I'm sure. He was the head of St Andrew's College before, and also St David's. And I would like to just on behalf of boys' schools, I guess, say to Paul, thank you for your incredible service to education, to boys' schooling. You've been an innovator, a gentleman, certainly a role model to other heads of schools in the boys' schools movement. And I do wish you well in your retirement. What's really special about our St John's and St Stithians derby in the winter season is that our hockey and rugby teams are playing in honour of the Pink Drive initiative. Our first teams will wear pink for the day, but really it's important for us because I think it's important for boys in our schools to be aware, to be made aware, to understand the dangers, the threats of cancer, but also the role that they need to play in creating awareness and supporting those people who are struggling with cancer. I'd like to now hand you over to Neelius du Preez from the Pink Drive Initiative, who will explain a little bit more about the program.
Good day, I'm Neelius du Preez and I am from Pink Drive. We are here today at St Stithians School celebrating the 3rd annual Pink Derby Day, started as a brainchild since 2008 by one of the St John's children whose mother passed away with breast cancer. On the field we have a mobile breast unit doing physical breast examinations, one of the units that we use to travel around South Africa creating awareness, education and screening for breast, cervical, prostate and testicular cancer. Today we are celebrating sport, using it as a tool also to creating awareness among the young children, as we believe that early detection helps prolong a life. Today we are using the sport also to show that you have to have a healthy lifestyle. So today at St Stithians we are creating awareness and raising funds, and we would like to thank them, the St John's as well as St Stithians, for hosting us. This is Pink Drive, and come and join us at St Stithians in Randburg.
Touching words from a representative of the Pink Drive, as well as the executive headmaster of St Stithians College, Mr. David du Toit. Lovely words there from him regarding Mr. Paul Eadie, the outgoing headmaster, a true headmaster, and revered around the country for his services to IB education in particular. Looking at the team sheets now, I'm not alone today. I'm joined in commentary by Mr. Mzwaki Nkosi as we go through the team sheets here. Look out for a couple of these players here, Mzwaki.
Yeah, Lucky, thank you for having me. Good morning to all the viewers at home who couldn't make it out here to St. Peter's Place. Looking at the St Stithians team sheet, there are a couple of outstanding players there. If I look at Yenam Zozua, an explosive ball carrier, a sizey ball carrier, and I think he's going to cause a couple of problems for the St John's defence. Luhan van Jaswegen, the captain, who's unfortunately has incurred an injury, who's back now in contention for selection. Another guy to watch out for is TJ Magurayanga, a Craven player, man with immense talent, lucky, as well as the speedster Munacha Chaitezwi.
Lovely stuff there. We'll certainly will look out for him as we now move through to the St John's lineup. They've had a lovely season there. The front row has been quite well. Bit of an interchange in the front row. We've seen Togozo Dlamini. He's changed from hooker into the tight head position. Alexander Groves, recently selected for the Craven weak side. Look out for him. You can't miss him. In fact, towering at 2 meters tall. The combination between Michael Bate and Bismarck Olivier at 9 and 10 has been a scintillating combination. The two centres, Kilbourne and Montgomery, have been a wonderful surprise in the midfield, and so too captain Luke Klaus at the number 7 jumper.
Both teams lucky, sporting a couple of provincial players in Alexander Groves. I see in the team sheet there, Kalen Willis not in the starting team. He incurred a little bit of a minor bump at the Craven Week camp, but certainly two sides full of quality, lucky.
Certainly so. It's going to be a humdinger, folks. For those of you joining us, we're live on SuperSport this morning, as well as on Facebook. Catch us on YouTube as well. Send us your messages of support and encouragement. Hashtag SSL Rugby is where we are. Find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and of course YouTube. You're welcome to interact with myself and Mzwaki as well at Blackstar_08, and of course Miss Ngozi at Mzeke_great. Join us, folks. It's going to be scintillating. We are here at Baytop Field. We're at Peter Place, like Miss Ngozi mentioned, and the first teams are just about to make their way for this pink day. It's a lovely winter's morning as we see the second team gearing up. They've just had a hard-fought battle, unfortunately not going in their favour, the second team from St John's. And now we await the formalities for the first teams to arrive.
Yes, like both teams coming off some quality victories. I certainly in my time can't remember a much anticipated private school derby like this one. St John's have had a really, really good season. St Stithians coming off a couple of good victories. They played Pretoria Boys and put in a real quality score there. So I think their tails will be up. If you look at St John's, they really gave a massive account to themselves against the two government schools. So this clash is really keenly anticipated, Lucky.
Certainly so. Just looking at the scores from last week, a massive one for St Stithians versus Kersey. They stole that game by 78 points to 22. And then, of course, it was Friday Night Lights last week at St Benedict's College. They were hosting St John's College, and they were victors there. 24 points to 15 with Stefano Osatu getting the winning try in that one there. So certainly is geared up to be a cracker. We see the war cry cheerleaders getting ready. It's been trending on Twitter lately, getting the cheers, getting the vibes going at these high school derbies. How important is that, Mzwaki?
Yeah, definitely. Like these fixtures are more than just about the rugby match or the rugby matches that are played out here on the field. Nothing brings a school closer like rugby season. I think the spirit of a school is brought about by rugby season. So these days, these derby clashes are a whole lot more than just rugby games playing. I see there's a host of people who come from both communities to come support the boys, and it provides the boys with an opportunity to interact, with an opportunity to compete against each other.
Certainly so. Just looking at the team sheets once again, Mzwake, just give us your predictions. Particularly, I want to know about the 9-10 combination, as well as the two wingers. Both sides have got scintillating players.
The 9-10 combination for St John's College has really been the heartbeat for that team this season. A team that's had a quality season in terms of results, as well as in terms of the brand of rugby that they're playing. I think Mr. Kharifissa, who formerly was the assistant coach to Kevin Music and who's now taken over the reins, has allowed the boys to express themselves and play a brand find that is really, really attractive. In some ways, they've caught a whole lot of schools unawares. So that the 9 and 10 combination, has been, and they've been integral to that brand of rugby that St John's have been able to play. If I look at the St Stithians, their forwards are really impressive. They are missing their tight head prop, Munashe Mary, who's only in grade 11, so he'll be available for them next year. But if you look at Yenam Zozu, if I look at a guy like TJ Makurayanga, who's available for the Craven, if I look at Munashe Chachezwi, who's had an outstanding season this year, his pace at the back is going to cause St John's some trouble, as it has caused many a defence throughout the course of the season.
Similar brand of rugby, it must be said, between the two sides, Mzwake. The man in the middle, the man of the whistle, Mr. Richard Schwartz. What is he going to look out for today?
Richard Schwartz is Schultz is a very strict referee. He blows the game to the letter of the law. Very fair referee. He's been in this, very experienced. He's been in the circuit for quite some time, perhaps 12 to 15 years. He started out as a youngster, so assisted by Pila Butcherot, the Selborne College referee. So I think the clash is in good hands, Lucky.
Certainly so. We see the St Stithians boys in their regular strip. They will be in that white shirt and navy blue pants. If you're confused about the pink socks, it's not your television color screens. It is in aid of the Pink Drive. It is an arrangement shared between the two schools. It does raise awareness for cancer between the two schools, having been started, like you heard in the interview a little bit earlier, by one of the St John's boys who lost a family member, a very close family member, to cancer. The camaraderie between the two schools surrounded by that in terms of supporting cancer and just raising awareness is being highlighted. So you will see a touch of pink, not only on the field, around the stands as well.
Yes, Lucky, that speaks to the point that these fixtures, these derbies, are more than just a rugby game amongst 30 people. These fixtures are really an opportunity to put things like the Pink Drive and market things like the Pink Drive and raise awareness for these type of things. And what better occasion?
As you can hear, folks, the war cries have started to go. I've been privileged to witness both St Stithians College and St John's. It's great. If it's not a battle on the field, it's definitely going to be a battle on the stands. Both of them full of emotion, full of support for their team. As we see the Blues about to make their way just in front of us here in commentary. St Stithians have made their way onto the field as well. I must say, Mzwake, those pink socks are definitely add a bit of class to the two teams.
Yes, I think it's a great notch in both institutions' belts to do away with tradition and look to raise awareness for a whole variety of causes. I think that's brilliant from the two institutions.
We've just seen the Mighty Blues make their way onto the field. You'll recognize them in their regular navy blue and white shorts. And then, of course, the St Stithians College in their white and navy blue shorts. The visitors will be playing from your left to right, and then the hosts from your right to your left. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Head coach, Mr. Harry Fisser, on behalf of St John's College, he'll be assisted by Peter Murison.
And on the St Stithians side, you've got Mr. Grant Bull, the man who's from the Eastern Cape, from Selborne College. Spent a bit of time at Grade PE as well as the much experienced Philip Kuhn, Craven Technical Advisor, forwards assistant coach, as well as having coached the Lions women's rugby side, as well as a whole variety of age group sides. So two coaching staffs that are evenly matched.
Certainly so. We see there Bismarck Olifia just about ready to get us started. He likes those deep, high-hanging kicks, and certainly will have a couple of chasers there, led by Captain Luke Klaus. From St Stithians, sure. So many players to speak of. Just waiting for the touch judges to get in their place, and then we'll kick this one off, folks.
The referee, Richard Schultz, an experienced campaigner, knowing that it would be really foolish to begin the game without a touch judge, especially a game of this magnitude for both institutions, Lucky.
Certainly doing us well to keep us waiting. Folks, do join us. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on Instagram, and guess what? We are live on SuperSport, so do catch in with us there. Engage with us. Hashtag SSL Rugby. It is St John's College versus St Stithians College. St Stithians have an old boy in the just compete in the Rugby World Cup, haven't they? In the junior ones, Asanati.
Yes.
What do you think of his performance, Mzwaki?
I think Asanati has been outstanding. He's a man of many talents. But as we speak about the junior Springboks, be sure, folks, to catch them this evening in their last game against Argentina. Here we go, Luxy.
The game is underway. A nice deep restart there we see from Bismarck Ulufia. Not shy of the physical encounter. That's a wonderful carry there by the lock forward. Wonderful platform to attack from. Options are both right and left. The lock forward meets his counterpart in terms of Groves.
Yes, Lucky. The St Stithians forward pack will really fancy themselves. Are definitely going to ask a few questions of the St John's defensive line. They've got a couple of bruises. As we see, the number 13 has been outstanding the whole season, with Munashe Chaitezwi just on his shoulder.
Full of running is this St Stithians team. As we see that fullback, we spoke about him a little bit earlier. Early impact he's having on the game. The halfback there will just need to do some tidying up. They need to be careful of the infringement there, St John's College.
Yes, Lucky. I can't see St Stithians College moving away from a style of pattern that has served them well this season. They're probably going to use Yenam Zozu right there in the mix of things. They probably bring Munashe, try and create some space for Chaitezwi on the outside there, or bring him on either on the inside and the outside of their fly-off, who's a crafty left-footed kicker, Lucky.
Ball coming in the centres now. Wonderful interplay between the backs and forwards. Slow and steady in the build-up are St Stithians. Coming now to the short side.
There's the dangerous man, Tabane Makurayanga. He's going to be a well-marked man today. Lucky. St John's would do well to make sure he doesn't receive too much of the possession this morning.
Certainly will need to do some tidying up. Quick one there by St John's. Advantage was being blown by the referee. Mr. Schultz, you spoke about him being strict, Mzwake. He's not wasting time, is he? He sent somebody to the sin bin already for a deliberate infringement. Professional foul, some people would like to call it.
Yes, like he's definitely one, in particular at the breakdown. He really likes to let the game flow. So I'd imagine that he'd try and put his stamp on the game early doors so as to allow for a free and flowing game.
Estienne van der Walt, the lock forward, will make his way to the sin bin for a couple of minutes. Wonderful platform now for St Stithians to go on the attack, and they do so in terms of the leg forward, Yanam Zazua.
Interesting decision there by St Stithians, Lucky, with St John's being one man down in the pack. The betting man would have probably opted for him to go to the line out, try and rumble it up with Demo.
Good turnover there as we see Bait clear the ball. It only goes as far as the fullback.
Yes, Lucky Munashe Chaitezwi, if St. John's are going to kick, he's probably the wrong person to have an inaccurate kick to with his pace, and he'll definitely look to run the ball back to them.
Comes out for the halfback, then to the fly half. The hooker is involved as well, is Josh DeLiu. Comes again for the number 10. Short ball on the inside to the centre. Can he make it all the way? Try time for St Stithians College. First points of the board go towards the host. Wonderful interplay, like we said, Mzwaki, between backs and forwards.
Yes,
and Andrew Jackson just finishing off there to award the first points of the game to the host.
Yes, Lucky. Great interplay there by St. John's, by St. Stithians rather. St John's will do well to look after the inside pass. They catch up defenders going to work will have to work a whole lot harder than what is working now. Flav is a tricky customer and he's a talented bloke who's in grade 11. He's just made the Golden Lions Academy Week 15, so he'll also be out there. He's certainly got a lot of potential. He'll be out there to be testing the St John's defence.
Certainly so. Just caught a little bit unawares there, St John's. We just need them to shape up in terms of their defense, but advantage taken early on from that sin bin. Then go for the line-out option like you and I spoke about, but 5 points nonetheless, and the fly half here will look to add the extra 2 points.
Crafty left-footed kicker is Karabo Mutlaudi. He's been an integral part of the St Stithians attack. Let's see if he can add the bonus points.
Certainly does add the extra 2 points. 5 minutes into this encounter, and St Stithians see themselves not only an extra man up, but also 7 points on the board as we see Karabo. Wonderful conversion there.
Test early doors for this much vaunted St John's side. Lucky they come under a little bit of pressure slowly to the halfway line, trying to compose themselves, trying to take as much time as they can so as to bring back the lock forward who's just received a yellow card.
Wonderful gather there by St Stithians. That flanker doing well. Luke Klaus will just need to be careful at that breakdown point. We've seen the referee, as we've mentioned, Mzwake, very, very disciplined at the breakdown.
As we see the St Stithians forwards rumbling the ball up again. St Stithians College not shy of giving it to the big men to truck it up for them. And as I say that, loss of possession for St Stithians, quality turnover ball from St John's, exhibiting those skills we alluded to earlier with the chip and chase. But the number 13 is a quality rugby player. And there we go. This looks like it might just be a quality score for St John's. Amazing rugby.
That looks like Daniel Deekser is over the line. What a turnaround, Mzwake. That ball went from St Stithians carrying the ball via the flanker. Wonderful interplay between the backs and forwards. Maynard was involved. Jack Montgomery, the star from the Michael House versus St John's College game. He punted the ball inside. And Daniel Deeks. Oh, Daniel Deeks. A canter through for him as we see here on the replay. Gathers the ball. 5 points, St John's College.
Yes, Lucky, that's the type of brand, that's the excitement that we alluded to earlier from St. John's. And Kharifasa must be credited with the style of rugby that he's playing. They throw caution to the wind, definitely not afraid to exhibit their skills. In Jack Montgomery, the quality grabber there, he's been a really underrated player, Lucky, if you ask me, on the scuba rugby circuit, especially up north.
We'll see. Just the extra 2 points added. The flags are raised. And all of a sudden, a minute and a half later, it's even Stevens here at Peter Place. 7 points apiece. There's just an injury concern. One of the St. John's College boys is down on about the 10-meter line of the host. He'll just receive some attention before we kick off again.
Yes, Lucky. Important score for St. John's there. In particular with the man down. They've been able to weather the St. Stithians storm. Quite apparent that St. Stithians are really up for this fixture. And they've had the early momentum early in this fixture. But St. John's showing that with ball in hand, they're really dangerous.
Ntokozo Dlamini is the player of concern. He does make his way up. He had quite a clash there with the flanker from St. Stithians.
Massive blow here, Lucky, for St. John's. In effect, they've lost two starting front rowers in Willis and in Togozo, which means they'll have to be reliant on the second team front rower to take them through the rest of this game.
Good gather there by the new winger. He's the latest addition there to the St. John's College team.
There's St. John's throwing caution to the wind from their own 22. One must commend them, Lucky, for their spirit of trying to run the ball from their own 22. Having said that, they've made many yards as we see the linesman Pila Bitterroot put up his flag for a 14 touch.
One player to watch out for, the young winger there, Sammy. He's replacing Clayton Pather. Clayton Pather was adjudicated to be concussed, so he's unavailable for this fixture. He'll have an important role to play in today's fixture. Wonderful gather there. It does come for St Stithians College. They make their way just over the 10-meter line. Penalty blown there by the referee. Quick tap, it is by the halfback. Wanting to make their way into the 22 is St Stithians College.
Yes, Lucky. There we see the St Stithians College getting ready. Yanam Zozu looking to truck it up for St Stithians College yet again. He's such an important part of the St Stithians attack. He definitely gets them over the gain line. As we see them looking to try and get his hands on the ball to Monashe Chatezwi.
Going nowhere slowly was the winger there from St Stithians College. Wonderful stop there by the defensive team. Rumbling forward, however, is the number 6, Tazio Spano.
It's going to be an interesting matchup between TJ Makurayanga and, there we see Matlaudi with a break, a nifty player, and a second score for St Stithians College, Lucky.
Certainly so. Wonderful handling skills there by Matlaudi. Has a look on his right and then to his left and decides that route 1 is straightforward. And he adds the second try for St Stithians College. Turning out to what may seem like a high-scoring encounter, Mzwake.
There we see a quality ball from the St Stithians pack with a ball in behind, and as we do that, it sucks in the defenders, and then Karabo Mutlaudi has the ability to exploit the space and goes over for 5-pointer, and one should expect him to convert this try, having slotted a conversion from a similar place earlier on.
Certainly so. So what we've noticed so far, Mzwake, as we see Essian van der Walt, the player that was sin-binned, he's about to make his way back onto the park, which will be relief from the tight 5 of St John's College. Full of running rugby, particularly from their own deep St John's College. St Stithians need to watch out for that. Having said that, the two halfbacks playing very, very similarly is Howell from St Stithians in terms of taking that ball towards the advantage line and playing it really, really quickly.
Close call there for the assistant referees. It certainly looked like touch and go from the angle at which we are at, Lucky, regarding that conversion.
If you're asking me, I would have given a flags up. But hey, we're not the man on the ground. We're the ones in commentary. It does remain at 14 points to 12 rather, with that miss conversion. Deep restart again, and we see a knock on.
Definitely not what the St Stithians coaches would have liked. That is definitely a coach killer, Lucky. One would like, after a try, to have a quality kick receipt and get out your own 22 as quickly as possible, particularly in a game like this and so much at stake.
This 13 minutes in, Mzwake, first scrum of the game. Don't see that very often, do you?
This definitely provides an opportunity, Lucky, for the St John's backs to have a real dip at the St Stithians backline. The first set piece of the game.
At full complement as well, we see a very dominant scrum there. Olivier. Skip pass. Comes now nice and wide. Little grabber through. Daniel Deeks forgets the ball behind and the touchline wins the ball.
Gerrit Visser, the coach of St John's, will be really frustrated at that backline play launch, losing the ball within the first phase, handing position over to St Stithians College, allowing them some easier respite out there on 22, Lucky.
Line-out opportunity here. Stolen for St Stithians. There's a captain, Luke Klaus. Stopped just short of the 5-meter line. Options to the right. It comes now for Maynard. Maynard. Try time in the corner, it seems like.
The assistant referee, Lucky, has adjudicated that the guy, Ruisi, has a foot in touch. He's certainly shown his displeasure with the assistant referee. Not very sportsmanlike.
We don't want to see any of that here, but it's going to be a close encounter. Wonderful regather there by the St Stithians boys, but the touchline manages to win that battle once more.
Important second scrum here for the St Stithians College boys. They took a little bit of a pounding in the previous scrum. Granted, they do not have the talisman in the front row in Munashe Mere. Having said that, as we look at the replay, if you look on the camera,
jeez, okay. Look good for all money from where we were sitting.
definitely on the replay in hindsight, Lucky, it looked good for all money, but in real time, a difficult decision, a difficult adjudication for the assistant referee.
We'll let that one slide, but we're back now just outside the 22-meter line. St John's College on the attack as we see Renica. First maul that we've seen. Strong running here by the forward packer from St John's. Good control by the hooker at the back. It does become loose, however. Referee allows the play to carry on.
The St John's College maul in outstanding form. In fact, St John's College forward pack has had a great start to the game with the two quality scrums as well as that rolling maul, benefiting from having a full complement again in the forward pack with a locked forward back from the Sinbin.
Textbook rolling maul, Mzwake. Lovely to see the hooker there, James Ives. Good control as we see just in this replay there. Always in control of the ball.
More importantly, the hooker from St. John's having the ability, which is very rare in this day and age in schoolboy rugby, James Ives having the ability to hit his man at the back of the line out.
It was a wonderful throw from him. We'll see now if Bismarck Ulufia is able to convert just the extra 2 points for the visiting team. Adds the extra 2 and neck and neck here, 17 minutes in.
Lucky the assistant referees definitely have a game on their hands, definitely have a lot of work to do. Another touch and go conversion, and rightly so adjudicated.
Wouldn't be very happy if I was part of the coaching team as we see a wonderful and a deep restart from Karabo Mushori. They'll need to be careful of that running start picked up by the 8th man from St Stithians. Can they capitalize on this one? We've seen them full of running rugby as we see the prop forward busting his way through, makes it just inside the 5-meter line. Comes up from the flanker there, loop around for Karabo. He decides to have a go himself, just fall short. Wonderful tackle from James Ives. Available once more from St Stithians College. Comes for Howell. Through the back door, try time, St Stithians College.
Yes, Lucky, it's raining tries, but one can't help but feel that Bismarck Holyfield, the fly-off from St. John's, showing a little bit of naivety, in particular in such a derby like this, looking to grab the ball from a kick receipt after having scored points in a quality maul. Doing his forwards, one would feel a disservice.
Poor decision, to be fair, from the fly half, like you correctly say, Mzwake. Certainly expect much better from him. We can see the intention, though, and obviously it's come from the coach's manual. Full of running rugby, get behind the advantage line there. St Stithians are not leaving anybody home when it comes to their defense. So just trying to get that ball over the top, but on that occasion, they were up to the task. Let's see if the assistants will get this one correct, and so they do. 2 extra points added. 19 minutes in, folks, and well, it's been a cracker. 4 tries in it so far. 2 tries apiece to the hosts and to the visitors, St John's College. We are poised at 21 points to 14. Let's hear your messages of support, folks. Interact with us on SSL Rugby. We're on Instagram, on Facebook, live too on Twitter, and on SuperSport. You're able to join us for this game.
Having said that, Lucky, we see the inclusion, or we see the return of Kalen Willis, who has just put in the 2 quality big hits. The front rower, the Cravenick front rower, Kalen Willis, immediately stamping his authority on the game. Kharifisa obviously needing some experienced heads on the field.
For those of you who are joining us in this game, if you're wondering why everybody's in pink and wearing pin socks, it's not the color of your television screen. It is in aid of the Pink Day. It's an occasion shared between the 2 schools, St John's College and the St Stithians, to raise awareness for cancer. So that's why everybody's in pink. Lovely touch, I think, of color. The hooker now just about to take the throw. We are on the halfway line. It's a short line-out option for the host. Finds his target man. Howell for Karabo Mushodi. You won't want to get tackled on that cricket pitch. Mushodi once more. Being a breath of fresh air is that centre, hasn't he, Mzaki?
Without a shadow of a doubt. He's been outstanding all season, to be honest. Old Tadi Murua, he's given a good account of himself, in particular in the games that I've seen him play. As has Yenam Zozu with a bumbling run in the midfield there.
Mushodi once more, really taking an authoritative approach there, as we see out of the basket. Yes, something you don't see every day is tight head on the wing. He manages to lose that ball, unfortunately. It makes it available for bait.
This is where St John's College are very dangerous. Their catching and passing skill is really up to standard. And if you throw the ball away against them, they definitely look to punish you.
Hoping they won't repeat the same mistake as last time. We see Renikel now make his way just beyond the 5-meter line. Just trying to clear their way, I assume. So they're able to clear, as we see a fundamental error there from Bate, the fly half. St Stithians right back into the advantage with a 5-meter scrum.
Yet again, Lucky, one can't help but think had St John's cleared their lines there and averted the danger, they would have lived to see another day or another set piece in this point, in this regard. But some more naivety from the St John's College backline, and here they are 5 meters from their line defending a scrum.
We saw in their scrum a little bit earlier on, it certainly is tight and very, very dominant, but St Stithians are 5 meters out. I'm sure they will want to consolidate that scrum area. It makes its way available. Another massive collision there between the flank forward and centre from St John's. Mushodi, show and go. Going nowhere slowly.
Yes, Lucky. I can just imagine St Stithians will just look to give it to Yenam Zuzu, who's been a big bruiser for them, who's been instrumental in getting them over the gain line. Trying to play the patient game here is St Stithians College.
Available now, keeping it nice and tight with the front forwards. Equally met by the defensive structures of the visitors. Calling them back is Mr. Referee. St John's just need to be careful of that offside trap. Rumbling forward are the Saints, the mighty Saints. Available for Howard. Comes for Mushodi.
Lucky St Stithians showing some patience. It looks like they've seen something on here on the blind side. They'll try and give it to a couple of their big bruisers to try and take the ball up for them. As we see their scrum off, try and have a snipe. Well met by the St John's defence.
The hooker is at halfback. It carries through there. No pillar defence there for St John's College, as we see another try easy as you like. I don't think he could believe his eyes. He looked up. There was nobody home. And a simple canter over for Luke Cavini, the number 8. He'll get his first try of this encounter.
Yes, Lucky. These points from St Stithians certainly points that have resulted from a sustained amount of pressure. As we see Luke Cavney there having a quick pick and go around the vacuum, around the breakdown. The St John's defence, questions being asked of them, Lucky.
Certainly so. We've seen wonderful attacks from both teams. To be honest, it's a defense from both teams that's lacking. Perhaps just overcompensating for the attack. They'll just need to consolidate in terms of defensive structures.
Yes, Lucky. With that score, it sees St Stithians go up 2 scores with the conversion to come, which in schoolboy rugby is a healthy and comfortable lead as they near half-time with 5 minutes to go.
Mushodi, he's been in a similar position all morning, to be fair. Doesn't make its way around, just slightly to the left. Sammy, the winger there, bit of a deterrent, we'll say. Well chased up by him. Plenty of work to do here by St John's College. Credit to both teams, though, Mzwaki, it must be said. Every visit to the 22 has yielded points.
Yes, Lucky. That speaks to our point that we're making. I think St John's will do well to play a little bit of test match footy and try and play some rugby in the St Stithians half. Every time they've gone into the St Stithians half, they've reaped rewards and come away with with a score of some sort.
Consolidation being done here by St Stithians as we see a strong carry again. Mushodi will look to clear the lines. Deep in the throat of the fullback. Comes now for Bate. Bate assesses his options. Should have let that one go, I think. He does so now. Montgomery on the ball. Little dinker over the top. Is it going to sit up for Daniel Deeks? The line manages to win that battle. Great idea, however, from Jack Montgomery. He's done well to distribute that ball.
Yes, like I just thought the St. John's winger needed a little bit of composure. I think he had more time than what he realised did Daniel Deeks. He probably a better option would have been to perhaps keep the chase alive, put the ball on the foot, have a look and see if it's a race to the try line.
Just under 10 minutes to go here, folks, in this first half. It's been end-to-end stuff. Try. Yellow cards, injuries left, right and centre, and a great battle between the forwards as we see Mushodi wanting to clear his lines. They'll just need to be careful. There is a player down for St Stithians. Daniel Deeks on cleanup duty. Looks left, looks right, has a look left again. Lets it go now to the fullback.
Great interplay here by St John's. Lucky. Let's see if they can keep the ball alive and get one score in or exploit the St Stithians defence just before the end of the half.
Daniel Deeks in control again. Manages to get through one tackle. He needs some support runners. He finds Alexander Groves. Busting run from him. It takes 3 to take him down. And the touch judge wins that battle once again. Good attacking platform.
The St John's coaching staff will be very frustrated, Lucky, as this isn't the first time the St John's attack has been bundled out into touch. They'll do well, Lucky, to stay infield. But as we say that, the referee has awarded St John's a penalty kick, and St John's look to give the ball a little bit of air into the danger man. Jack Montgomery, one to beat, and there he goes, right underneath the post. Fantastic attack from the St John's College boys.
It's Jack Montgomery. You'll do well to keep him out of the score sheets as we see there. Wonderful, classic, textbook Mr. Harry Fisser, head coach there. Tap and go, Papa, as you would say. Have a go, have a run, son. Wonderful interplay between the backs and forwards. Luke Klaus and Tane Maynard involved in that attack as we see now. Jack Montgomery does well to swerve on the inside, evading Karabo Mushodi as the last defender there. 5 points in favour of the Blues.
Lucky, that score definitely a quality score from St John's. The build-up to that try was really impressive. Great interplay amongst backs and forwards. When the referee awarded the penalty, good heads-up rugby by Michael Bate and Bismarck Olifu. exploiting the St Stithians defence, having a look to see if they narrow on defence and exploit them at edge.
Certainly will give the St John's College boys something to cheer about. We'll wait to see if the same spirit is able to get their boys back into this one. It's 26 points to 19. Just under 5 minutes to go in this first half. It's really been end-to-end stuff, folks, as we see Karabo Moshodi about to kick us off again. Very deep restart from him. He must be careful not to overcook that one. Sammy onto the ball. And Bate will clearly resigns.
Michael Bates definitely had the right idea, Lucky, but his execution found lacking. St John's found themselves defending a St Stithians line out deep in their 22 with 30 seconds to go till the half. A score on either side here will definitely have a long way in deciding who wins this rugby game.
Standard Bank, proud sponsors of this fixture. Thanks for joining us, folks. We are live on all sorts of social media platforms as we see an attempted steal there by St John's College, adjudicated to have been a knock on there. Wonderful competing by Reinica.
Yes, Lucky, with 5 minutes to go till the end of the half, that is an important steal, an important set piece for St John's, putting the St Stithians set piece under pressure, needing to give their forwards a bit of respite as St Stithians have had the bulk of the possession. The St John's forwards have had to do a whole lot of defending.
Certainly so. I've been very impressed at this stage with number 7, Yanam Zozua from St Stithians College. He's had a wonderful impact on the game thus far, as we see that scrum come in favour of St John's College. Montgomery now onto the ball, spreads it wide to Deeks. Deeks has got a clean pair of heels with him. Tackled by the fullback there. The whistle has gone, however. Forward pass adjudicated with the assistance of the assistant referee on the far side.
Yes, like as we see the man Jack Montgomery giving the 13 from St Stithians, Tadi Morewa, a little bit of a stutter step, getting around him. St Stithians fortunate they've got the pace of Munashe Taitezwi at the back, who was able to reel in Daniel Deeks after the line break had been made.
Wonderful gather there by him. We'll see another scrum.
Important set piece here, Lucky, before the close of the half, as we see the danger man Munache Tachezwi for St Stithians lining up behind the centres. I would hazard a guess that Karabo Mutladi would be looking to find him in space as they launch from the sum.
They'll want to come away with points here, as we see Moshodi now comes for that evasive winger. Sammy's got a job to do.
Ruisi from St John's College, Lucky, on the right wing, has definitely been impressive in the start of this game, in particular in the latter part of the second half, having marked TJ Makurayanga very well and been brave to mark the big winger from St Stithians. As we see St John's with the turnover ball, Grove showing a neat pair of hands there. Unlucky knock on from Daniel Deeks. A game of turnover here, Lucky. Enterprising play from either side. As we see Luke Kavanagh from St Stithians tracking the ball up again. St Stithians resorting to a game that has really served them well. A game of running straight, giving it to the big guys. Let them provide some momentum for the speedy backs on the edge.
Certainly so. Ball is a fumble there. It is loose for St John's College. Someone needs to be on clean-up duty. Show and go there. Ball available. A little bit messy at the moment. Somebody needs to clean up. Jack Montgomery throws a chicken wing. Sammy does well on the tight end side there. Advantage being blown by the referee. Penalty blown. Quick take here from Bate. Not 10 is the referee.
Michael Bates full of running. He's incurred 10 meters on the referee, forcing the referee to put St Stithians captain under pressure. There's Richard Schultz having a chat to the players.
Luke Klaus just in the referee's ear there, reminding him that that's 2 infringements in a row, wanting to caution the visitors.
Interesting choice there, Lucky.
I would have fancied a bit of a go, huh?
Pesmak Olivier with his left foot favouring the right-hand touchline. Interesting as to why he didn't take that kick.
Line-out option there. James Ives, a short option here.
I would hazard a guess that they will have a look at to see if they can hit Groves in the line-out. They go to the back again, try and put the rolling maul underway again. St Stithians will do well to stop this rolling maul. Break blind by St John's. There goes Michael Bates. He's got a 2v1 with Michael Ruusi. Early tackle from St Stithians, not adjudicated by the referee. And here we go, TJ Makurayanga. He's definitely not a man who you want to see in space. He's not a man who you want to throw the ball to. As we did, chicken wing to the outside backs of St Stithians. Great scramble defense there by St Stithians, but not into touch. St John's defense really narrow. St Stithians looking to exploit them, looking to get width on the ball as Luke Kavanagh trucks the ball up, Lucky.
Certainly so. End-to-end stuff here. We thought it's going one way. It's now going the other way. It's in favour of St Stithians College. They make their way just over the halfway line. Lovely platform to attack from as it comes out for Mushori for the tight head. Howell on the ball. Good runners there. Gets stopped.
Looking at Yenam Zozu, he's been industrious in this half.
Certainly so.
I would love to see what his ball meters per carry look like. He's definitely been a stalwart for the St Stithians team.
Try scorer, the 8th man from St Stithians. That wonderful carry. It comes now from Mushori. Geez, that tight head has been busy, rather the loose head this morning. Short ball. Only makes its way until the 22.
I must be honest, Lucky, I've been impressed as the game has gone on by the St John's defence. It's grown in stature. They're starting to meet their man. They've added a little bit of a physical aspect to their defence, and it served them well to keep them at 26-19 down as Richard Schulz blows the whistle for half-time.
It certainly has been end-to-end stuff, folks. Jeez, I need a bottle of water. Certainly do the players as well. We are at Peter Place. It is half-time here between the first team sides. St John's College, the visitors, they're up against the hosts. St Stithians College will have a water break. It is 26 points to 19 in favour of the host. We'll have a breather and we'll see you after this short break.
I never dreamed that I'd meet somebody like
Would you have one or two here, ma'am?
Time, folks, and we're back live. St Stithians College versus St John's. We're at Peter Place. It's been a scintillating first half. 26 points to 19. They lead St Stithians. It's been try time all day, every day so far.
That's it, Lucky. A whole lot more circumspect.
Messages?
A whole lot more circumspect from St John's. I think Gerrie would say they've just got to find a balance between getting width on the game as well as playing the rugby in the right half of the field, Lucky.
Play does come just beyond the half of the visiting side. As we see a wonderful gather there, it does come for Howell. It's now Mushodi. Dropped his lipstick, did St Stithians College. It'll be the first scrum of the game. We saw very powerful scrums in the first half.
Yes, Lucky, a little bit intricate from St Stithians College. I think they would have been better served to be a whole lot more direct, a whole lot more simpler. They haven't struggled to get over the advantage line, Lucky. In that case, being maybe too intricate, giving the ball away to the powerful St John scrum.
Chingai Musonda, we see you. This game is crazy, certainly so. I agree with you. Keep your messages coming, folks. It's going to be a cracker of a second half if the first half is something to go by. As we see there, Beta onto the ball. Wonderful run there by Bismarck. Bismarck has got a huge job to do in the second half. Not his best showing in the first half.
Yes, Lucky. St. John's will be looking to him to definitely marshal this team, to definitely quarterback this team back from this deficit of 7 points and see if they can put some points on the board, try and make this a real fixture, try and take it to the wire at the end there, Lucky.
He'll look to pivot as he puts St. John's College in the first attacking position. The battle of the war cries have started, Mzwaki. It's a Saint Spirit versus the Blues.
Yes, Lucky, the second half, definitely the two private schools, they've been trending as we mentioned earlier, Lucky. Their spirit has been definitely amazing. There goes the St. John's more Lucky, rumbling ahead. It's been really good in the first half. And there we go. The St. John's forwards, Lucky, they must be commended. They have been absolutely fantastic. Physically, they've stood up to the St. Stithians pack. They much vaunted St. Stithians pack. Their rolling maul and their line-out work, their set-piece work has been outstanding. So kudos to them. They've really shown up. They just need one or two guys in the backs to really step up to the plate. And one can't see why St. John's cannot win this game.
Rolling maul, as we've seen by St. John's College. Ives decides this maul is going nowhere. I'll take it upon myself to get the 5 points for the team. And he does so, and very successfully. Bismarck Unufia will look to add the added extras.
There you go, Lucky. It's a 2-point ball game. Just as we were saying that St. John's needed a score to bring them within striking distance of St. Stithians College. As we see on the replay, the hooker from St. John's, James Ives, his line of throwing has been exemplary, Lucky.
Certainly has been deeply sought, we see here, by Karabo Moshodi. Clears his lines, is bait. He will bring play up to the halfway stage. Keep those comments coming, folks. They certainly are going to need those comments from you. We'll put them up on the screen for you. Engage with us. We are on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and live on SuperSport. You'll be able to catch this. Pink Day Derby. Bit of a fumble there. Knock-on advantage for St. John's.
Lucky, I must say, St. John's showing a little bit of maturity, looking to exit in their own half, making sure that they go to the set piece, try and put, there goes their man, James Ives again down the wing, looking for a man to play with. I must say, like, I've been really impressed with the ball handling skills of the St. John's team. Their interplay has been absolutely magnificent.
Both teams, to be fair, I mean, we've only seen, and I stand to be corrected, 6 scrums in the entire match. So good handling skills by both sides. Good interplay between the backs and forwards. It's really who does it better over the 5-meter line.
There goes Kalen Willis, a very strong ball carrier. As we say that, Lucky, turnover ball for St. Stithians. They've got a couple of the quick men waiting for the ball. Let's see if St. Stithians can get the ball out to the edge. They keep the ball alive with some lovely continuity to Yenam Zozu. He's been a menace all day in the defense space. He's been an absolute
stalwart, Mzwake. He's got a massive job to do in the second half again. It comes for Kavanagh, the try scorer in the first half, the 8th man. Counter-racking. Almost successful by St. John's. Regathered by the mighty Saints. To the left, Zozua involved once again as we see the center pairing there. Clean pair of heels that we see from him. Stopped just short of the 22. Howell in support. Continuity here is key for St. Stithians as we see a ball to hooker.
Important line break there, Lucky, from the St. Stithians, number 12, Joshua Notnachel. He's allowed St. Stithians to be in the red zone of the St. John's College team. It's really definitely up to St. John's now to show some respect on defense. And as we say that, great steal from the St. John's College boys.
Wonderful seal there and a good reprieve there by St. John's College. They look to take it quickly here, Mzwake, as we are so familiar with. That's a bait there. Deeks is chasing onto the ball. Cleanup duty is Moshodi for St. Stithians. It is wrapped up by the right winger. Show and go. He shoves off bait. Howell now comes to the short side. Moshodi employing St. John's tactics here.
Lucky, I'm not sure about the wisdom of Michael Bate. He's made a couple of quality decisions, but I'm not particularly sure about the wisdom of Michael Bates, Teppen playing there, having had a penalty. Their forwards have been outstanding. Their rolling maul's been outstanding. It perhaps was an opportune time for Michael Bates to allow the forwards their time in the sun and let them have a go with this St Stithians forward pack.
I tend to agree with you there, Mzwakhe, as we see now the line-out that will happen just in front of us here. Pressure line-out. They've attempted this short man line-out a couple of times, Mzwakhe have St Stithians, but it really hasn't come about. Advantage has been played. There was a late hit on Daniel Deeks, as we see now Kilborn onto the ball. He gives his man Jack Montgomery. It's Jack Montgomery! Who else do you want than Jack Montgomery? Under the sticks, it's 5 points, St John's College.
Yes, Lucky. Jack Montgomery running a magnificent support line there. Yet again, St John's backline showing their enterprise. St John's College with a quality steal from where else other than Alexandra Groves.
How's this Bluetooth between the two centres? They just know where they are each time. There's a bit of a show and go from Kilborn. There's his partnering centre there. And Jack Montgomery. Clean pair of heels. Bit of an air puncher before, and over he goes. 5 points, St John's College.
Having said that, Lucky, lots of work still to have been done by Jason Kilborn. He had to beat one or two defenders, have the composure and the vision to put Jack Montgomery on his inside away for a quality 7 points.
Dare I say it to Mzwakhe, and I'm sorry I haven't said it before earlier in this game. It certainly is game on, isn't it?
It definitely is. I think, Lucky, this is definitely due to St. John's playing rugby in the correct half or in the right spaces, not putting themselves under unnecessary pressure. I fully appreciate the type of brand that they want to play, Lucky. But as we've seen, they've been able to put St. Stithians under pressure and come away with 1 or 2 7 points, which has resulted them in being in the lead.
Deep restart once again for St. Stithians.
And Lucky, as I say that, with Persma Kolifir taking charge of this game, Lucky, why would you not want to go to the line out when you've got the height of Alexandra Groves in your team?
Hopefully they'll remember that. Once again, a short line out option here for St. Stithians. Let's hope they can find the jumper. Zuzui.
St. Stithians with a quality trick play, putting the loose head prop into space, not looking to get into the air. Obviously, Alexander Groves has served as a massive threat to the St. Stithians lineout.
Counter ball now for St. John's. They'll want to throw this one as wide as possible. Kilborn sees a bit of a half gap. It now comes. Jack Montgomery. Daniel Deeks. Can he find it all the way? Daniel Deeks. Daniel Deeks makes it over the 22. He stopped a wonderful stop there by the St. Stithians. A scrambling defense there by them. Penalty there awarded by the referee. Much reprieve for St. Stithians College.
Enterprising play, Lucky. I must say St. John's are really giving the supporters here full value for their effort and time to come and support. They're playing coast to coast, see bumper side to side type of rugby.
Certainly so. You've seen that replay there. Daniel Deeks, he knows one route, and that's the N1 highway straight forward. He does get stopped by Hever. Good scrambling defense by the fullback there. And then referee, Mr. Schultz, awarding a tackle release. Plays in front of us once more.
I've been really impressed by Daniel Deeks. Small in stature, but full of vigor, full of running today. He hasn't been short of any running, and he's definitely given a great account of himself this morning on Baytops.
Yes, folks, we are on Baytop Field. Do join us if you can. If you're not able to, we're live on all sorts of platforms. As we see a wayward pass throw there into the line out. He won't be impressed with himself there, Will Deliu.
I must say, Lucky, Alexander Groves proving to be a menace at line-out time, and he didn't even get in the air there, Lucky, but he's a massive presence at the line-out, and he's forcing St. Stithians to do a whole lot of trick plays, which in that case haven't worked out.
Certainly, let's see this scrum here. It comes now for Kilborn. Bit of a voo-voo pass there for Sammy.
There we see Ruisi trying to have a go at Munashe Chaitezwi there on the far side from where we are standing.
unlike Kilborn, that pass really was just a wayward pass to him. You could see the idea trying to skip two to open up a 2v1 on the far side there, Mzwakhe, but just not going to hand. It does bring play, however, to halfway.
There we see Colin Lobsher giving us a little comment there, reminiscing about days gone by, St Stithians versus St John's in the 1980s.
Connor Yokobi, we see you. Come on, the Saints. Keep those messages coming. Thomas van Niekerk, we see you as well. Come on, St John's. Supporting all the way from Australia. Glad to have you with us this morning. And thanks for tuning in.
Much better from St Stithians College, keeping the line out nice and simple, looking to move the ball into spaces. Great launch from the St Stithians side, looking to get within the ball now. Munashe Chautezi with the ball in his hand, with a little stutter step to TJ Makurayanga. He's a big man, he'll have a real go. Pretty careless with the ball there is TJ Makurayanga. He will have done well to just keep possession. There we see St John's. This is where they're tricky, Lucky. This is where in broken play you don't want to turn the ball over against them.
It is in favor of St Stithians College. There's miles of space on the outside if they can get the ball there. There is a huge overlap. It comes now for Howell. The prop forward busts his way through. Bate has taken a bit of a bashing in the second half, but he's stood strong at every single encounter.
Yes, Bates, the former King Edward's man, having moved across to St John's in his grade 9 year, obviously settling well at St John's.
Certainly has settled as we see that regular interplay. There's Groves using his 2 meters to good effect, taking the host backwards. Zozoe. Jeez, he's been a stalwart. He shrugs off one, shrugs off another. He wants to shrug off a third. Just unfortunately losing that ball. Counter-attack opportunity here for St John's College. They are deep in their half though. They'll need to be disciplined with this one.
Yes, Lucky. It wouldn't surprise me if St John's gave some width on the ball. Some continuity from St John's. It's 5v1. A whole lot of runners. It's Jack Montgomery. A go against 2v1. Bismarck Olivier, can he keep the ball alive, Lucky? St Stithians defense scrambling. I thought Richard Schultz would have rewarded St John's. And we see a smackdown there from TJ Makurayanga.
It's WWE out here at Bay Topper Field. Advantage being played by the referee. I would have liked to see a little bit earlier, but play does continue. It's taken forward by Reinecker.
Lucky, one can't hope that St John's will really rue that missed chance. They had about 100 to very few on that turnover ball break. And then as we say that, they give a intercept. Richard Schultz going to consult with the assistant referee. Perhaps can we see a card for a charge down 2v1. One cannot really argue with that decision from the referee, Richard Schultz.
You'd be foolish to argue with that one, Mzwakhe. 2v1, a possible try-scoring opportunity and a deliberate knockdown or a professional foul, as we'd have it here. I do see Daniel Deeks looking in a little bit of a discomfort. So too Maynard is down, receiving some attention. And Michael Bate, like I said, sure, he's taken a bit of a fad in the second half. But credit to him, he stood very, very strong.
Mr. Letabo, I would hazard a guess here. The St. John's boys will get the rolling ball going. Have a look and see if they can suck in a couple of the St. Stithians defenders, especially with the St. Stithians backs being one man down.
Ives looking to find his man. Renikel is the jumper. They go to that 6-ball maul. It's really worked effectively for them as we see the rolling maul work for them. They're just short of the line. Going nowhere slowly is that reserve hooker.
I must be honest, Lucky, I've been really impressed with James Ives. His line-out throwing, his skills, they've been exemplary today. As we see Jason Kilbourne with the show and go, step inside, over, underneath the poles. 5 points with Bismarck Holyfield surely to convert that. St. John's looking to run away with this one with 20 minutes still to go in the second half.
What? Man! Mr. Cool, Calm and Collected. We'll just give you a highlight reel of that one, folks, if you miss it, because I certainly did. You look at this ball, it goes from nothing to step one, step another, fend off, clean pair of heels and 5 points. As cool as you like, didn't even break a sweat, did Kilbourne. He gives 5 points to his team. And St. John's starting to slowly but surely come away with a lead.
Yes, Lucky. I must be honest, the Flower of Bismarck Holyfield has come into his own a little bit in the second half. The St John's forward pack have come into their own a little bit in the second half. They really putting their stamp of authority on this game, playing rugby in the right half of the field, in the right areas. When they do get an opportunity, regardless of where they're on the field, on a turnover ball, they really look to punish St Stithians, and their territory there has come about as a consequence of that quality steal, good enterprising rugby. Involved is Jason Kilbourne. Daniel Deeks has been outstanding today. I must give him credit. But an unsung hero here has been James Ives. His line-out throwing has been really accurate, Lucky.
You heard it, folks, from the man himself, Miss Nkosi. Coaching par excellence. The head coach at King Edward VII School, involved with the Gauteng Golden Lions Rugby Union as well, giving his professional 2 cents worth. Hopefully the players will take note as we see Moshodi. Counter-attack opportunity. Meets his maker. Slow build-up here by Kavanagh, the 8th man. Try scorer in the first half. Comes for Howell. Then to the center pairing of Tadi Murewa. Oh, sit down, says the reserve prop forward to Essian van der Walt. Zozoe.
That reserve prop with the number 17 jersey, if I'm not mistaken, Lucky, that looks like Michael Demos, a destructive runner with the ball, Lucky.
Certainly, judging by what he did a couple of seconds ago, is certainly is a destructive. Advantage is still being played by the referee in favor of St Stithians College. Adjudicates that going nowhere really.
St Stithians College will really be feeling the pressure now, like having gone from at the half 26-19 down. Interesting decision as we see here for them. They're deliberating about going for the 3 points, trying to chip away at this lead, Lucky, to bring themselves within striking distance of 1 or 2 scores, so they can really bring themselves back into this game. The momentum at this moment, Lucky, has definitely been with the St John's College.
Interesting decision, like you say there, Mzwake. Having said that, I certainly would put my money behind Moshodi to get the 3 points here. He will bring it within a striking distance. It'll be just below 10 points for them to catch up here. It's a wonderful atmosphere here, folks. Do bring those messages of support for the 2 sides. It's going to be a cracking finish to this encounter. We're at Baytop Field. We are at Peter Place. It is St Stithians College, the hosts, up against St John's College. The Anglicans versus the Methodists.
As the kick hits the upright, there's a chase there by St Stithians. One could make a call for an early tackle in the air there.
Referee allows a player to go on.
They've given the ball to the danger man. He's been really quiet in this game. Has he, Monashe Chaitezwi, having to look and see if he can really spark the St Stithians team into a little bit of an attack. One score here, one score of any kind, Lucky, brings St Stithians right back into this game.
Certainly would be game on for St Stithians as we see that reserve prop. Jeez, he's really had an impact. Where's he been all this game? But good decision making to bring him on to really have that physical approach in front there.
There go the St Stithians boys, bringing their forward pack into the game. I would assume that they'll try and rumble this one over to try and get a score there, as the referee Richard Schultz plays advantage to the men from St Stithians. Great break there by St Stithians.
Look at that,
Tadi Murewa, using his strength and explosive power to break through the St John's defence. It's definitely game on here at Baytop's, Lucky.
Tadi Murewa didn't need much space, didn't need much distance for him to convert those 5 points. We've mentioned a little bit earlier in terms of St Stithians getting themselves into a position where they're able to get back into this encounter, and we just saw a credible 5 points there by Murewa. We'll look to see now the conversion by Karabo Moshodi.
Important conversion here by Karabo Moshodi. I think Lucky, if he converts this one, he brings them within a converted try to win this game. We're heading into championship minutes, Lucky, and scores are really tight at this stage.
on a knife edge here at Baytop Field.
Great nudge there by Karabo Mouthlaudi, bringing St Stithians within 5 points of St John's College. It's going to be a tight end to this game, Lucky.
It's far from over as we see Mouthlaudi converting the extra 2. We're about 22 minutes in to the second half. It is 38 points in favor of the visitors, St John's, versus the 33 of the host. Strap on, folks. It's going to be quite a scintillator towards the end of this fixture here.
Deep kick there from Bismarck Olivier, looking to pin St Stithians down in their half. A dangerous tackle from Alexander Groves. I must say, like a difficult man at almost 201 meters to be able to bend down and make a, as the World Rugby rules call it, a fair tackle.
Dropped his lipstick there. Was Mouthlaudi. The referee just wants to have a chat. He's really been accurate in terms of the discipline in this game, hasn't he?
Yes, Lucky. Richard Schools is an experienced campaigner. He understands how to handle games of this magnitude. He's definitely set a precedent early days in the game, and we've seen very little ill discipline in this game, and he must be commended for his handling of this rugby game.
Certainly so, he must be commended, but also commendations to both sides. They've really adapted to his style of refereeing. As you've mentioned there, we've seen very little ill discipline and players really playing to win.
Yes, like thus far, it's been a spectacle of tries, hasn't there been? Defense has just been that thing around this school, but there's been nothing short of scintillating attacking tries from other teams.
Mouthlaudi won't be too impressed with that kick. Should bring play just about to halfway.
A talented player is Karabo Mouthlaudi, but very inconsistent with his kicking boot.
Does the wind have a bit of a factor to play there, or not so much? Because it's a bit breezy where we're sitting in the commentary tower.
Yes, Lucky. There we see yet again St Stithians College looking to get intricate at the line-out time. And as we've mentioned before, St John's aren't really the type of team who you want to give away turnover possession to. They've really had a quality season, and their counter-attack has been an integral part of their success this season. Their ability to move the ball to edge, their ability to keep the ball alive in terms of continuity. So St Stithians really playing with fire. As I say that, St John's College keeping the ball alive, as we see Alexander Groves with a neat pair of hands to the number 4, who will be looking to make up for some lost time after that yellow card, Lucky.
Little bit of a run there by Bate. Deeks at halfback.
There we see Kalen Willis trucking the ball up again, leaving 1 or 2 defenders in his wake. There we see Daniel Deeks right down the left-hand touchline. Great decision by the scrum half, Michael Bates. 7 points.
That's a wonderful little run then. Credit to Michael Bates. He really made that happen there. You saw a little bit earlier with two phases prior to that try-scoring move there, Mzwake, where he tried to have a little bit of a damn and go. He was regathered, but good communication between the two players.
Yes, Lucky. As we mentioned earlier in the game, as we see, he had a snipe prior to the game, prior to that try being scored. He's keeping those defenders at pillar and post alert, and great vision from the scrawny youngster. He's definitely coming into his own in the game, really taking charge of this game, Lucky, giving the St. John's forwards some quality direction, something which really lacked in the first half.
Great to see
Come on, lads, go
calm
again.
head on his
Come
shoulders, Bate, to have a look
Come
for that one there.
go. Come boys.
These kicks
We'll
at
see.
goal, Lucky, are definitely becoming really important. Let's see if Bismarck Olivier can nudge this one over.
Swirling kick there by Bismarck Olivier will add the extra 2. Some attention being received there by one of the St Stithians players. We'll get confirmation of who it is a little bit earlier. It does seem that a change will have to be made.
Yes, Lucky. There was Kalen Willis leaving 1 or 2 defenders in his wake on that barnstorming run he had earlier that set up the try or set up the momentum for Michael Bates to really have a dip at the pillar and post defenders so as to put Daniel Deeks out wide underneath for a score.
We're just awaiting there, folks. Let's see if there's some messages of support for either side. We'll bring them up on screen now, so we'll be able to convey your messages to the team. Engage with us, SSL Rugby. That's the hashtag, available on all social media platforms and live on SuperSport, as we see great sportsmanship there. Player being taken off the field, hopefully just as a precaution, nothing too serious. Luke Klaus. Captain Luke Klaus on the ball. He's met by the St Stithians prop forward. Olivier for Montgomery. Have a little bit of a goosey, clean pair of heels that have been shown here by Jack Montgomery. Can he find Kilbourne? He does not need him. Well gathered there. That's a great gather by the fullback.
Yes, Lucky Jack Montgomery has certainly been a shining star in the St John's backline. Jack Montgomery has got the pace, he's got the power. As we see Alexander Groves, St John's with their tails up now, Lucky definitely throwing caution to the wind, really putting the ball through the phases.
Deeks, that's a wonderful run by him, but equally matched by St Stithians. It's like Mamma Mia here, dancing shoes everywhere. Zwake by St John's. James Ives, we've spoken about him as we see the prop forward. That's a clean pair of heels by a prop forward. Try time, St John's College. Where have you seen that? With a complimentary cramp at the end of it as well.
Keegan Graham with the legs. But Lucky, if you have a look at that try that was just scored, look at the continuity, look at the interplay between the St John's players, keeping the ball alive, not setting rucks, really making sure that they don't give St Stithians a target, don't allow the St Stithians defense to form a defensive line. As we said, that James Ives is instrumental. Have a look at that offload. Great support play from Keegan Graham. He's shown a clean pair of heels.
One would have been mistaken for Jack Montgomery if we weren't too certain of who was who in the zoo here. And a classic prop forward move in terms of a bit of a cramp afterwards. The Achilles and the hammy taking a bit of a beating after that clean pair of heels shown. $50 up here for St John's College. Has been a try-fest, hasn't it? Will that ball come around? Oof. Jeez. It's a bit of a tough call there by the AR once again. That ball looked to swell around, and it was clear from where we were, Ms. Ngosi. But we're not the men in charge down there. So play does continue. It is 50 up for St John's College.
As you see, a big hit by the reserve
hit, wasn't it?
Michael Demos, if I'm not mistaken, Lucky.
Meeting his number was Kilbourne.
Lucky, I must be honest, the spectators have definitely received a fair share of entertainment here at Bay Tops. Tries of plenty, with 88 points being scored by both teams cumulatively. There we see St John's College on a. There we see St John's College there on, and no doubt they're going to get some width on the ball. There they throw caution to the wind. As we see Alexander Groves yet again will show a neat pair of hands. Inside ball from Alexander Groves. There we go. Can Presma qualify? Finishes. He's got Munashe Chatezwi in pursuit. Keeps the ball alive. Can he? There we go.
Go forward.
Gives it to the St
Ted
John's
Maynard is
number 8
on the ball there. Mzwake. Play does come just by the 22.
Well snuffed out by Munashe Chatezwi. Michael Pace.
Offside there, Mzwake. It was a great read from him, offside nonetheless, but jeez. These forwards showing a clean pair of heels and a complimentary cramp to round it up over them.
Yes, Lucky St John's have been full value for money this morning. They've shown enterprise with the ball. They haven't been scared to exhibit their skills. Look at the big lock. And Alexander Groves, I understand he's off to further his rugby career overseas, and we wish him all the best in that regard. Lucky.
Certainly enjoying the last of his house schooler games. He'll certainly remember that scintillating run of his here at Baytop Field.
Interesting, Lucky. St John's College have not used Alexander Groves in the line-out. They've used him as an attraction point and thrown to all the jumpers around him.
Fancy smanchy here by the visitors. St Stithians on their defensive line. Let's see if the Saint Spirit can keep this one out. There's Alexander Groves.
They've hit Alexander Grove in the line-out. St John's College looking to get the rolling maul going. Well defended by St Stithians College.
Wonderful kick there. Ready to be gathered. The ball is knocked forward. The advantage being played by the referee. Tip tackle there. I'm sure the referee will come back to that one. Play, however, resumes.
As we see that, Lucky, have a look at the offload continuity and the contact continuity of the St. John's players, really not looking to die with the ball. As we see there, the assistant referee, Pilla Bitterhout, had his flag out for a tackle. The referee has used the reason, a tip tackle, or to use World Rugby lingo, his tackle has gone past the 90-degree.
Past the 90 degrees for the simple folk out there like you and me, basically turned him upside down. That's not allowed in rugby.
Great explanation for the layman, Lucky. Another line out for St. Stithians to defend with a minute to go, Lucky. I can't imagine St. John's not rolling them all.
Snubbed up there by St. Stithians, crucial on their line there. Garabo will look to clear his lines, and he does so successfully up until the 10-meter line. Play, however, does stay in play.
There's James Montgomery looking for the ball, but St. John's fullback decides to go in the opposite direction. I must say, Lucky, 88 points on offer this morning. If you said to me this morning, do I take 88 points regardless of the result, I would have definitely have taken it. Great rugby out here, schoolboy rugby at its best.
It really has been scintillating, and both teams have come out to play. St. Stithians early on with the dominance, but cool, calm and collected were the St. John's College boys. We see now Bate coming for the ball. Kilborn for Maynard. Quick tap and go by the mighty Saints.
Lucky, the time on our clock up. Last movement. St. Stithians have got one last opportunity to put some respectability on the scoreboard and get a galvanizing try at the end.
St. John's really have been in charge in terms of the second half, but take nothing away from the contributors of St. Stithians College, mainly Zozowi and Mutlodi as well.
Lucky, one must give credit to St. John's going into the half at 26 points to 19 down. They showed great resolve. St. Stithians had a quality first half, but at 26 points to 19, they showed great resolve, and to be 50 points to 33 up at full time, as we see Michael Bate kicking the ball out. Great display of schoolboy rugby. All credit to St. John's and St. Stithians. They've dished up a quality game of rugby, Lucky.
Look at that show and go. Razmataz here up for grabs there. That was Michael Bate. Final thoughts from you, Ms. Ngozi.
Yes, Lucky, this crowd here is really privileged to come and watch such an entertaining game. 88 points in the end. some enterprising play from either side. Really impressive stuff. And for these boys to end off their schoolboy careers, or at least for the matrics, with a game like this, they will be really proud of themselves. And well done to both institutions.
It's been wonderful here, folks, at Bay Topper Field. It does leave this encounter in favour of St John's College. 50 points for the Blues up against St Stithians College. First half dominance by St Stithians, but the second half, I'm sure the Woolworths Water had an impact at half-time. Wonderful display from on behalf of St Stithians by Delu, the hooker there from St Stithians, and so too Zozoa was a great impact for the St Stithians side. Take nothing away from Katleho Mutlodi. On behalf of St John's, a great display again by the regular characters there. Daniel Deeks had a wonderful display, so too Jack Montgomery. Michael Bate took him a while to wake up in that first half. He came through in the second half with a wonderful assist and a try there. Great kicking by both fly halves. Folks, it's been an absolute cracker from my co-commentator, Mr. Mzwaki Nkosi at Mzege_great. And from myself, Lucky Letabo. Remember, folks, let the kids play.